in America right now, we've got this pandemic and it's a problem, obviously, but what I like to see and what inspires me is leaders that say, not there's nothing we can do, oh, woe is me. And on the other hand, oh, you don't have to take it seriously, it's not that big a deal. I like kind of that middle route between, hey, let's make some sacrifices, let's follow the science, but let's also figure out how to get whatever it is we're doing done. So talk a little bit about both the idea of being adaptable and flexible as it relates to leadership, and also the idea of being, instead of being a I can't do leader, being a can do type of leader.
Yeah, I mean, those are kind of fundamental to leadership. I agree with you 100%. The adaptability piece is one of the things we talked about right up front as we began planning and preparing, because for those of us that are in the military, I was a planner, and what you learn about developing plans is that no plan survives first contact. As soon as you make contact with the enemy, because the enemy gets a vote, your plan is going to change. And you have to be flexible and agile and adaptable enough to be able to change quickly to adjust to the situation, because the situation is going to change on you. So you can't be so locked in on your plan that you aren't flexible enough to adjust as necessary based on the conditions. And so we all knew going in that we've got a plan in place, but when the cadets come back and we start rolling out this whole plan and executing, things will change. Conditions are going to change, and we've got to be agile and flexible enough to adjust. But more importantly, so do our cadets. Our cadets have got to be flexible enough and agile enough to be able to change as well. And quite frankly, what surprised me was they are amazingly flexible, amazingly adaptable to things that change.
Nice.
And they're learning some very, very good lessons from all of this that I think will serve them well in the future, because as we all know, best laid plans never pan out the way you expect them to.
Right.
And you've got to be able to adjust to the changing conditions. We live in a different world today. COVID-19 has changed everything for us, but we're adjusting to it. We're adapting to it. You have to. It's either you throw up your hands and you say, I quit, or I can't handle this, or you put your nose to the grindstone. You say, we're going to figure out a way to work around this.
Sure.
And I'll give you a great example. One of the biggest disappointments we had was we were told by the SEC that the Aggie band could not march at halftime on Kyle Field. Very disappointing for all of us. I mean, everybody loves the Aggie band. Everybody loves to see the Aggie band march. But we got told early on that the SEC was not going to allow us to have the Aggie band on the field at halftime. So we said, okay, we can't do that. So what can we do? And we sat down, and the Aggie band leadership said, hey, why don't we conduct a performance during the week, videotape it, and we'll show it on the Jumbotron.
Love it.
At halftime. It's not the same as being on Kyle Field at the game, but it's the next best thing. And oh, by the way, our cadets still get a chance to practice and rehearse and perform in front of the crowd at Kyle Field. A little bit different, but they still get the opportunity. And so that's what we've done. And the cadets, have kept a very positive attitude about that. And I was at formation last night, evening formation. And after I was finished with formation, I was walking back and I was talking to some of the cadets there from the Aggie band. And I asked them what they thought. They said, sir, it ain't the same as being on Kyle Field, but we're thankful that we get the opportunity to march and perform a halftime drill, even if it has to be videotaped and shown on the Jumbotron. I mean, that's the caliber of young people we're dealing with today. Talk about resiliency and the ability to adjust and adapt accordingly. Anybody that thinks that this generation isn't adaptable, isn't resilient, hasn't seen the young men and women that I get a chance to deal with every day.
Love to hear that. Love to hear that, General. And I think that's a great point, because I think sometimes old guys like you and me grumble about the young kids and, oh, they're not tough enough, and, oh, they're on social media too much. And, sometimes I think we don't give that generation nearly enough credit for their resiliency. I have 2 kids in high school and a daughter. I have 2 boys in high school and a daughter who's in 7th grade. And I got to tell you, and I don't think I'm special in this regard, the way they dealt with the quarantine and the pandemic, I could not be more proud of them. And their friends are the same way. I mean, their friends are taking it seriously. and they're treating it. They're almost stronger in some ways than some of the older people. And so I think that's a great point